Cut the music. Okay. If you clicked on this video because you want in-depth analysis on the inner and outer workings of car dealership loan deferrals and fancy financial footwork for Title 11 bankruptcy, you're not going to find that here. You can read about it in articles being posted. You can watch writer content creators' videos on that specific subject. I would stay away from a few of those people, you know if you know. And then you could educate yourself. My chair is too high. I've educated myself on the topic. And the only reason I'm making this video is because I feel like the people watching me and the people that have watched me for a long time, for whatever reason, value my opinion. So I pressed record, and I'm sitting down in the robe, and I took the sunglasses off because this feels like it's a serious topic. Do you remember when that report came out about us flipping the coin to draft Brock Bowers instead of Terrion Arnold? And that was like a real story, and then it kind of came and went. I kind of forgot about it until I was scrolling through some of my old videos, and I was like, oh yeah, there's a story about how we flipped the coin. I'm not here to tell you that what happened with Antonio Pierce isn't a real thing. It's real. It's definitely real. It's not a good scenario to be in. I'd rather not have my head coach in the current predicament that my head coach is in. Do I think he's going to be fired? No, I do not. Do I think he's going to be reprimanded by the league? No, I do not. Do I think that this is going to matter 3 weeks from now? No, I do not. But unfortunately, we are the Raiders. And this stuff seems to happen to us a lot. And if you've been living under a rock, Antonio Pierce's wife filed bankruptcy to kind of save him from having to pay a bunch of money back to some car dealership for taking out a loan to put into a business that he started back in 2018. He was involved in a lawsuit in 2020. This has been going on for a while. This isn't like a bombshell Woj bomb or something crazy. It's not great, but to sit here and say that the sky's falling because they filed bankruptcy in a strategic way, not a personal way. Look, Antonio Pierce doesn't claim to be a good businessman. So what he does with his money legally, not illegally, legally, is none of my business, none of my concern. If in any way this hinders his ability to coach the football team, then we could have a separate discussion. But I'm here to tell you, I think it was Jamie Lee Curtis. This is going to sound random, but it's good advice. Who said this? I think it was like an actors on actors interview with her and Colin Farrell. Stay with me here. That she teaches her kids to have like the rule of fives when you're dealing with a problem. And the rule of fives is this problem going to be a thing? Is it going to be important to you? Is it going to affect your life 5 seconds from now, 5 minutes from now, 5 days from now, 5 months from now, 5 years from now? And then you say on that spectrum where it's going to bother you, and you give the appropriate concern to that level. If it's going to be 5 seconds from now, you don't think about it. If it's going to be 5 years from now, that's not great. 5 months from now, we're not going to be talking about this. 5 days from now, we're not going to be talking about this. He's going to have a press conference, I'm sure, at some point when training camp starts, and they'll ask him about it, and he'll say, I have no comment, or he'll say, I made a mistake. I thought this business was going to work. It didn't work. Me and my wife have to work out some financials and pay back some of this money. Some people are acting like he was like in the movie Goodfellas, and he paid a mob boss to kill somebody, and now the paper trail of money is coming back to him like this is some Snowden-level scandal. And of course, look, there's money to be made with these videos, and there's ads on this video right now, but I'm not trying to push some hyperbolic nonsense about Antonio Pierce for a non-story because it's a slow news week. And yes, if this was the middle of the season, this would be a news story. Not to say that this is coming out of thin air And not to say that this is just as bad as the coin flip. But I'm here to talk any Raiders players off a ledge that thinks we're cursed or thinks that Mark Davis is going to have to make a decision about whether or not to fire Antonio Pierce. Are you guys insane to even let that cross your mind? There are videos out there made by certain people. I'm not getting into the weeds and all this. I'm not going to get into the drama. That are being pretty irresponsible about all this. And there are some bigger Raider content creators that have yet to make a video about it. And I'm interested to see how they discuss it. All I ask is this. You can watch whoever you want to watch. You could support whoever you want to support. But before you make your opinion on the matter, go read some articles made by people who do not have a biased opinion about this. I'm doing my best to stay completely level-headed when talking about this situation because to me, it means next to nothing. Like I said, would I rather this not be a thing? Sure. But I could promise you a week from now, I don't think it's going to matter. And again, he'll be asked about it. But before the season starts, what is the most likely scenario? AP's not our head coach. They're going to talk about it during the season. Or we're just going to play some football games. Look, I appreciate a story coming out. It gives me something to talk about. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to you just to get clicks. I'm not going to sit here and make my top 5 candidates to replace Antonio Pierce video when I don't think he's anywhere near in jeopardy of losing his job. There are videos out there taking advantage of this situation. And it's not responsible, but I get it. People got to make their money. So they got to do what they got to do. Okay? We're not going to change how people conduct themselves on the internet. The internet's a bad place that you can find a little bit of good in every now and again. All I say to you is this, and I said it before, but just make sure that we're all educated on the topic before we talk about it. It reminds me about people talking about medical advice during a certain pandemic. Whether you lean one way or another, none of us are doctors. And there was doctors telling us to do one thing, and there was doctors telling us to do another thing. All you got to do is trust the people that you got to trust. If you trust me, here's my take on it. I don't think it's a story. I've tried to educate myself the best I could on this topic. I think I did the best that I could. I understand the basic logistics of what happened, I think. And I don't think it's going to matter a couple weeks from now. I could be wrong about that, and I'll come on here and I'll be the first to tell you I'm wrong. I think I'm responsible in that way. If you trust me, then take that and run with it. If you trust somebody else who's saying the exact opposite, good for you. Just make sure we're educated on the topic. Because it would be a shame to start thinking negatively about our coach when he's basically saved us from a lot of despair this past year. This was a tough season, and AP's come in and he's righted the ship. He's got it facing the right direction. And I'm not going to let something as silly as this, it's silly in terms of talking about it as if the sky's falling. It's not silly in terms of what Antonio Pierce has to deal with, which is super unfortunate. And he did nothing wrong. He just made some bad choices business-wise. I actually feel bad for him because now he's going to have to deal with this on top of trying to coach the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, if you want to discuss if it's going to be a distraction for him, I hope it isn't. It doesn't seem to be a distraction thus far, and this isn't like he woke up today and found out this was going to happen. I'm sure he knew months and weeks ahead of time that this was going to happen, which is why his wife filed bankruptcy. They knew this day would come, so it's been in the works for a while. He was a part of a lawsuit for this thing in 2020 and 2018. I'm sure he's been talking to lawyers and financial advisors, and I'm sure that this step that they took today was a step they knew they were going to have to take for a long, long time. And it didn't seem like he was distracted so far. So I'm sure he's going to be able to do his best to separate how he feels about the financial situation that he's in with his wife from the X's and O's of being the Las Vegas Raiders head coach. And if the season starts and for whatever reason he doesn't seem like he's being involved in the team, then I'll be the first person to call him out. And I'll say, AP, get your head out of your ass, bro. This is not what we paid you for. And we don't know how much he's making. And we don't know the terms of the deal. Some people might want to say otherwise. We don't know. Just saying. So that's my take on the AP situation. I'm not going to pretend like I know what's going on. I did my best to read about it. I guess, what are your thoughts on the situation? Am I underreacting? It's 2 a.m. Maybe that's why I'm underreacting. I'm a little tired, but I wanted to get this video up to my patrons early. So they're getting that early. You're probably seeing it tomorrow, the 26th? 3 p.m., 4 p.m. If you want to see videos early, sign up for the Patreon. It's only $5 a month to get videos early, to get your name at the end of the credits, to get exclusive content, behind-the-scenes stuff. And then there's another tier where I can help you make your own YouTube channel if you're interested in that. Subscribe. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. We're at 7,500 almost, which is, God, that is so close to 8. If we can get to 8, then get to 9, then get to 10 before the new league year. Maybe we need a new coach. I don't know. We'll see who's coaching by then. Everyone take a deep breath. This video is for Raider fans to be talked off a ledge if they think we're cursed, or if they think, why do all these bad things happen to us? This is a story. It's a real story. It will go away in time. There's not much to talk about. This wasn't tweeted by Ian Rappaport or Adam Scheffner. This was tweeted by somebody else, and it's real. But that just shows you that, ESPN isn't their top story. Just flip on the news. There's real stuff going on in the world of sports. This is not anything to panic about. So I hope I calmed you down. And I hope that you like this video and comment on it. And please be sure to subscribe. It's free after all the charge to you. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.